Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 22nd of September 2022. And today's Millwall news is Gary Rowett. He addresses criticism after Millwall's disappointing start. The Lions are 13th in the Championship table after 10 games. But if you watched the video I did the other day, I told you I compared this season after 10 games compared to last season after 10 games. We've won more games. We have one more point. But we've lost more games. Because last season it was 2 wins, 6 draws, 2 defeats after 10 games. So, what does Gary Rowett say? Gary Rowett admits that he understands why Millwall fans are angry about their performances this season, but he's not listening to any outside noise despite his side's poor perform. The Lions have had an underwhelming start to the campaign, losing 5 of the 10 championship games so far. However, Saturday's 2-1 win against Blackpool eased some of the pressure after their poor run, although the half-time whistle was met by a chorus of boos, and supporters still voiced their frustrations online after the match. Yeah, if you check the stats video after that I made after that game, you'll see in the first half, we only had like 3 shots on goal. So, I mean, and they weren't very good ones either, which is about the same as Blackpool had. Even though we went in at 1-1. I'll be really honest, I don't look at social media, it's not something that particularly interests me. Rowett told News It Then. Good for him, good for him. I mean, loads of weirdos are on social media. You gotta be careful on there. I've been here for 3 years, so as a manager I'm pretty well versed on the fact that if you're not winning lots of games and not scoring lots of goals, then the fans pay their money and they're entitled to their opinions. Yes and no. Winning games, yes. Scoring lots of goals, not really. I mean, what we don't want is boring football. We want attempts on goal. You don't have to score every time you go forward, but we want direct football. We want to ram it down and get down their throat, and that's what we want. I can understand their frustration at not being near the top of the end of the championship. That's fine. I've always said the same. I don't think pressure is the right word because there's people in far more pressure jobs than I am. I want to win games for the football club. I want to win games so the fans can feel good about themselves on a weekend. How they choose to react is their right and decision, so it's not really something I control. Ooh. While Rowett says that he understands why the supporters are frustrated by the results and the style of play, he prefers to focus on the incredible backing that the club has received throughout its tenure to date. I can only judge what I've faced so far. That's 3 seasons where we finished in the top half, and I think the fans have been absolutely brilliant. It's like anything, any manager would say the same. I think I'm about the 3rd longest serving manager in the Championship, which I've been here 3 years. There'll be some people that want something different. There'll be some people that will be quite happy with a top half finish, and there'll be some in between. Yes, indeed, he is the 3rd longest serving manager in the Championship. What does that say something about Gary Rowett? Does that say something about the rest of the Championship? Does that say something about the people running Millwall and the loyalty to Gary Rowett? Especially when you're considering how much money they've thrown in the summer. What do they think about? They must be kind of upset. They're probably waiting. They are probably waiting until the end, until we get more information, because you can't really judge it now. I mean, we did a comparison in the previous video, last season, this season, after 10 games. We're better this season. It doesn't feel like it. We've won more games. It doesn't feel like it. We've lost more games. And that's the rub. People were moaning about the draws. Now they're moaning about losing. Even though we got more points. So, what can you do? You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Isn't it? I can't really change that. All I can do is work as hard as I can for the football club and for the fans to win games. That's literally all I focus on. Everything else is people's opinions. I can't really control. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it too much. Good for him. Good for him. Yeah. But if he doesn't listen to the fans, which maybe he should, maybe he shouldn't, who does he listen to? Who does he listen to? Football wise? Is there anyone there that he can talk to? To say, why did you do that? What was the reasoning behind that? There isn't anyone there, is it? I don't know. I don't think there's anyone at Millwall that you could do. Talk to about that. Is there someone not at Millwall that you can talk to about it? I don't know. Some kind of mentor, some kind of Obi-Wan Kenobi figure in Gary Rowett's life. Maybe not even a football man, just someone outside of it. His parents, a father, I don't know. His father's still around, I don't know. But is there someone who can say he can have an honest conversation with him about what's going on? Maybe the chairman, maybe John B, maybe Steve Kavanagh, as they're the ones who hold power over him. They can fire him if they want. Maybe they're coming in and they're very forthright with him, saying, "Well, what was that about?" I don't know, but he's got to listen to someone. You can't. No man is an island. How are you influenced? What is he doing? And is that good for Millwall Football Club as a whole? And is it good for Gary Rowett going forward and the players? Is it good for them? So, this is from southernnews.co.uk as well as was the previous story. Plans in place for Millwall's World Cup break. What do you think the plans are? No championship games will take place between November the 12th and December the 10th this season. Yes, and it will be a World Cup, but will it be interesting? I'm not too sure. I think it's going to be a load of old pony, to be honest with you. I'm not looking forward to it, and it's probably a bit of a disgrace that they're doing it. And not only this, but now they've done it for this, there's other ones coming in who want to do the same. So the World Cup after this one is going to be in USA, Canada, and Mexico. But after that, they're looking at North Africa, Egypt, and Morocco and whatnot, Tunisia. But again, in the summer, it's going to be too hot. But hang on, we can move it to the winter, no problem, because you've already done it. So it's set a precedent. Let's find out what's happening closer to home during that time. So Millwall have an idea of how they'll approach the World Cup break this winter, but it won't involve a warm weather training camp. Clubs like Sheffield United are reportedly considering holding a training camp abroad, but the Lions are instead set to stay in the UK and play a series of friendly matches instead. I would imagine what, behind closed doors or what? So friendly matches, probably we'll find out about them, and it'll probably be something like fucking Rangers, Celtic, Arsenal, Man United. We'll put in the Man United, Tottenham, and we'll find out afterwards, and they're all behind closed doors at training grounds. Like, you fucking bastards! What the fuck? It seems highly unlikely that any of the club's players will be involved in the tournament in Qatar. Harsh. I think that's true, isn't it? Hungary haven't qualified. Who else is there? No one. Unless they get a surprise call up. Meaning that manager Gary Rowett should have his entire squad available during the extended break in November and December. We've got an idea, we've got a plan of how we'll do it, Mill boss told me then. I'm not a massive fan of warm weather training camps, if I'm being honest. I think sometimes the players see it as a little bit of a holiday. It's hard to see it as a real training camp when you go away and work incredibly hard on what you need to improve on. That's been my experience from the 2 times I did it before, at Derby and Birmingham. For me, that won't be something that we'll do. We've looked at fitting some games in, potentially friendlies to build ourselves back up, because 4 weeks is a long period to not play. You almost got to see it as a COVID restart when we had 4 weeks back and we tried to play a couple of games in order to kick on with the league games. It'll be different, it'll be unique, but no one's done it before. I think everyone's got to try a different route, see what they think is right. We'll see which ones work and which ones don't. Indeed. Well, if you don't want to do a warm weather training camp, Do a cold weather one. Go to somewhere like Iceland, somewhere interesting. Go and see some volcanoes and shit like that. I don't know. Why not? But yeah, so not going abroad, and they're going to play friendlies, which you know are going to be behind closed doors, and they're going to be some juicy games, and you're not going to be allowed to watch them. If you're lucky, you'll get to watch it on stream, but other than that, no chance. So this is from LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Millwall's promising youngsters attracting interest from other clubs. A striker begins to make a real impact for the under-21s. Millwall manager Gary Rowett is keeping a keen eye on Millwall's under-21 side and has picked out Abdul Malik is beginning to make a real impact. The striker scored in midweek as the Lions beat Chandler Fleck 4-1 at the Den to make it 7 victories in a row. Seb Drost, Isaac Lofby and Nino Adam Maliki were also on target. Abdul Malik signed a contract with Millwall in September 2021 after initially indicating he would be moving on. He trialled unsuccessfully with Watford and Southampton before committing to the Lions. That's not the whole story, is it? That's not the whole story. You're being a bit disingenuous there. No offense, Mr. Corley. Because I believe he had played for an England youth team, one of them, probably under 15s, under 16s, something like that. And we would be due a fee for him leaving and signing for another club because we had offered him a contract. Because we made him an offer, it doesn't matter if he rejects it or that. The system is the system. It is what it is. Once he rejects that offer that we made to him, if he wants to go to another club in this country, in England, which is what you see with Zach Lovelace, there's a loophole. Whereas if you go to a club in a different country, they don't have to pay so much. It's basically cut down because it's a foreign country. Why do they have to follow our rules? It's just out of good faith. They don't have to. They could stick 2 fingers up and say F you. But then there's going to be a bit of bad blood between the two FAs in terms of transfer regulations, and then they could just block players coming from that league or such. So, if he wants to move to another club in England, they have to pay a fee, and there were reports of the fee being going to be between £400,000 and £1 million because of how good he is in terms of speed. He's got speed, he's got agility, he's good with the ball at his feet. They were playing him in the wrong position before. They were playing him up front on his own. They've now played the same system as the first team. They got 3 up front. That changes, they drop down and whatnot. And he's playing one of the what you call inside left or inside right roles. Basically, winger that comes inside. And he can pick up the ball and just start running, and 3 opposition players surround him, try and slow him down, and he can just skip past them all. He's really, really good at that. But what they're not mentioning here, he trialled unsuccessfully with Watford and Southampton, not because they didn't want him, because if they knew they were going to have to sign him, they would have to pay a massive amount of money, effectively a transfer fee. And they were like, well, is he worth it? They had to cost-benefit analysis. Is it worth it? Because they're not Man City. Man City, is it on here? Yeah, here, look. Man City signed this kid from that Charlton Athletic. Man City it's nothing for them. But Watford and Southampton, yeah, Southampton is still in the Premier League. Yeah, it's not that much. But still, you're basically buying a player who's not coming into your first team. You're paying a fee for a player to come into your under 21s and he's going to be there for another 2 or 3 years developing. But you've already paid a massive fee for it. That's why he got rejected, not because he wasn't good enough. Fellow frontman Alofi had interest from a number of clubs in League 1 and League 2, but ended up not moving before the summer transfer deadline. The whole under 21 group has done really well, Rowett told the Southamptons. It looks like a strong group. It looks like a group has got a lot of clubs watching a lot of those players now. because success breeds opportunity for young players. It's important we've got a really competitive under 21 side. There are a lot more players and young lads finding out to get into the team. They've got their own little culture building to have to be performing really well to get into the team and stay in the team. Abdul is really coming forward. He has always shown that promise around the edge of the box. He's got such good feet. And we saw that many years ago in the FA Cup when he first came to our attention, the FA Youth Cup. It's taken him a little time to really impact the 21s team. That is what he's doing. He's starting to score regularly and starting to look dangerous. There have been other very good performances. That's what we want. 5 or 6 of those players being capable of playing in our first team, or other clubs desperately wanting them alone, like we've seen with some of them. We want that cycle of improvement that gets them closer to our team. Got quite a lot now, and it's looking very, very good. Full credit has to go to Nugent and Robbo. The work they've done with the players, they've been excellent, and continue along with Fitzy to keep developing good young players, bringing them through the academy. Indeed, indeed, indeed. One thing I would say in terms of Abdul Malik, getting him out on loan, Dartford were looking. Dartford coaches were there the other day. I don't know who they were looking at, our side or their side, but if Abdul Malik does go out on loan, where does he go to? Because if he goes to non-league, will he be alright down there? It's not really the star. I think a League One team, but is that too much? Because they do play. There is capability of playing football in League One. You don't really want rough and tumble, hit and hope kind of stuff, and using him that way. You want him to pick up the ball and run at teams. Who plays like that in the conference or in the conference south? Probably not. So we will see. We will see if there are any more loans. We've got 4 players out on loan now: Joe Wright, Ryan Sanford, Alex Mitchell, and Kamal Grant. So we'll see how they go. Maybe he'll go to Dagenham and Redbridge, join Kamal Grant. I don't know, but we will see. So talking of under 21s, Charlie Cresswell. If this shit fucking loads. This is sofascore.com, and yeah, they've reset it. Thank you so much for that. It's reset itself. Fantastic. So England under 21s went to Italy, played them. I think it was in Italy. I had no idea where it was. Does it say where it was? No. Yeah. So Charlie Cresswell started and played 90 minutes. Was only one of 2 players. Him and the goalkeeper played 90 minutes. Everyone else got subbed off. And I found out late on it was actually being shown live on England YouTube channel. Didn't really know about that. By the time I joined, it was 2-0, and it was a bit. It was over. It was really over for Italy, to be honest with you. But Charlie Cresswell playing 90 minutes. Hopefully, that's a good sign. He's come through that well. Yeah. They've got another game coming up, so you would think if this was a friendly, it's not a qualifying game. I don't know what the next one is. The next game, I think that might be friendly as well. Yeah, against Germany though. So how friendly is that? So seeing as he played 90 minutes in this game, he might not play 90 minutes or even feature in the next game. So we'll see. Might just be sitting on the subs bench for that. We've also got coming up today, Hungary. Callum Styles is playing in that game. Well, he's selected for that squad. And the England game, if it's today, I don't know when it is. Not really paying attention to England anymore. You've got yeah. So England game's not on Friday. Must be on Saturday. Not England. Not England. England's there. Not England. Northern Ireland. think Northern Ireland is a Nations League game, and you've got George Saville playing in that one. So I can't see it there. Oh, did they play today? Oh, there. So they're playing Saturday. Northern Ireland, Kosovo. Good luck to them in that. I don't know if they're still struggling to avoid relegation. But let's have a look. Let's have a look while we're here. Where are we at? There you go. Yeah, they're trying to avoid being relegated from that league. They have to not finish bottom. You finish bottom, you get relegated into the league below. So they're League C. They'll end up in League D. But you think, well, is that good or bad? They should end up in a shitter group level. Look, they're going to play Andorra and Moldova, and you would hope that they would actually spank those teams, and they could probably bring a few youngsters through as well. So I'm sure they don't want to end up in League D. So if they could beat Kosovo, that would be pretty good. And we'll see how George Saville does in that game on Saturday. So moving on now. Guess what? RMT announces another day of strike action across the country in October. Another day. I told you before, there's a strike on the 1st and the 5th, which amazingly is the same day as our Blackburn Rovers away game and the Rotherham United away game. Isn't that fantastic? I don't know how they do it. They are surmised and suggested they might be China Athletic fans, seeing as they are train spotters. But yeah, so this is from Rail Advent UK, whatever that is. Might be a magazine or so, I don't know. The RMT Unions has announced a further day of strike action in October in the ongoing fight over jobs, pay and working conditions. Railway workers will now walk out on the 1st and the 8th. So they've joined the other mob on the 1st, and they've done the 8th, a new one, the 8th. The 8th? When's that? Well, guess what day that is? Yes, it's a Saturday. They keep going on a strike on a Saturday. So, do we have a game? Yes, we do. We've got Middlesbrough at the Den, and there's a lot of Middlesbrough fans on hearing this news not very happy about that, because that's a long old fucking journey, and quite a few of them had already bought tickets and trying to get refunds. Yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the fucking teeth, isn't it? Especially after I found out why they keep taking strikes on Saturdays. Do you know why they keep doing that? I found this out. It may or may not be true. The reason why they do strikes on Saturdays is for this reason and this reason alone. There's a shortage of train drivers. There was because of COVID. I think a lot of the older ones just retired because they were old and they were scared of getting COVID and dying, shit like that. So, and they probably just halted recruitment and stuff like that. And then when some retired, they just let them retire, and that was it. They didn't replace them. So, what they've been doing is when a train driver works on a Saturday, it is A, optional, and it is B, classed as overtime. It is not in part of their main salary. It's overtime because there's a lot of engineering works that they do on Saturdays and Sundays and weekends and stuff. And even then, with the new timetables that we're doing post COVID, they cut the services down a lot, especially on Saturday, and they changed some of the routes and stuff. Beckenham Junction got cut, and then they brought it back. So they were reducing it down, and then they said, well, if you want to work on Saturday, it's optional, but we'll pay you overtime. So that's why they keep striking on Saturday, because they're not losing any money. They're just losing their overtime, which they don't have to do anyway. It's optional. But a lot of them do it because they're greedy and they want more money. So this is why they're striking on Saturdays, because it's not costing them any money in terms of losing anything of their basic salary. What a When I found that out, I mean, fucking what a bunch of scumbags. And that's just the train drivers, I believe. Everyone else who works on a Saturday, they just get normal money. There's just those train drivers, the ones who already earn a massive amount of money. The reason why the strike's on Saturday because of that. Can you believe this fucking shit? So there's a train strike on all 3 days that we have matches in the first week of October. I think it's incredible. How do they expect to gain any support amongst actual working class people when they keep fucking us over for the things that we want to do in our spare time and our weekends? But there you go, eh? I'm sure they don't give a shit about you. So why should you give a shit about them? Fuck them, and yeah, fuck them. And on that note, no, one more story. New stadium tour dates on sale. The stadium tours have been rip-roaring success. They had Joe Dolan, remember him? Yeah, exactly. He looks exactly the same. It doesn't look like he's put on any weight. Looks as trim as ever. I don't know what he's doing. But yeah, they've just they keep putting up new ones and selling tickets. And Mark Beard is doing a Legends tour on the 28th of October. So we've got one next week on a Friday the 30th. That is at 1 p.m. Then Friday the 14th of October, 1 p.m. Tuesday the 25th, there's Junior Tour, and that's a special Halloween themed one on 2 p.m. Tuesday. I'm guessing that must be half term because that's a weird one. You expect the kids to be at school at that time, so I'm guessing that's a half term. They have another one at 11 a.m. on the 27th, so I'm guessing. But that's not a junior tour. That's just anyone's adult tour or whatever. So you could bring your kid to that anyway. So they've got 2 in the same week. That must be half term. Or they've got 3 in a week. They've got 25th, 27th, 28th. So yeah, I'm guessing that's definitely half term week. Friday the 28th, that's the Mark Beard Legends Tour again at 11 a.m. So they're really pushing these out, and for non-season ticket holders, it's priced at 15 quid. If you're a season ticket holder, you get a discount, 13. And there's concessions price and a price for under 18s. Junior tours are priced at £10 adults and £5 for under 16s. And you need to have a kid with you if you're going on that. Don't be a fucking weirdo. And that's an actual kid, not your mental age. Legends tours are a bit more because they're gonna cut the geezer in some of the money. So there you go. If you're interested in that, you can buy it online at milltickets.com, by phone, or turning up at the ticket office and buying it there. So there you go. There's the date. They check out. Is it someone's birthday around then? Anything interesting for you? It's not that expensive, I don't think, in terms of like an experience. Especially if you got a kid or if you've only been in the stands at Millwall. If you haven't been in the executive section, which if you go to an under 23 game, you sit in the executive section. That's the way you get in. There's like 200. There's max 200 people that go to that, and they all go in there. So if you've ever wanted to go in that section, go to an under 23 game because it's cheap as fuck. That's £5. You can do that. But if you've never been around the different areas of the stadium tour, why not? Yeah, and on that note, thank you for watching, and fuck the RMT.